Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs. Welcome to the G-Watch, our Gundam Explained supporter podcast that we have every month. Today we have Ian, longtime mod and contributor, and Talos, who's also another longtime mod and contributor, a lot from GBO2 content. So for today's G-Watch, we're actually going to just have like a general conversation about Gundam Breaker 4, kind of talk about our thoughts of the game, what we've kind of seen out there, community stuff. And I think Ian and Talos have probably done more than me, so I'll probably ask questions as we go. So first off, and as you guys are watching this, I'm going to be able to switch through different screens because we all have our screens up. So if there's something we're talking about, we'll be able to show that. I want to start by asking, and I'll start with Talos. Talos, in your opinion, what do you think of Gundam Breaker 4?
I absolutely adore it. I will be honest, my first experience with the Breaker series was New Gundam Breaker, unfortunately for many.
Oh, yeah.
I did not get the opportunity to play GB3 until much later. And GB4 is not simply an upgrade, but it feels like an entirely different game. It's smoother, it's faster, it's a lot more fun than Breaker, the New Gundam Breaker specifically. I've heard a lot of good things as well in comparison to Breaker 3, and I've been playing it quite a bit. This is actually my build right here. You can see my Gundam Elmerak.
Okay, and I am showing your screen, right? Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, so what do you have on this?
So the Elmerak actually is an interesting build, as I decided to take a different approach entirely from my previous builds. Most of my builds are mostly 00 or UC units. This is a purely IBO build with a bit of the manga side. We have the left arm of the Barbatos 6th form, right arm of Bael, torso of the Lupus Rex, legs of the Lupus, head of the Astaroth, and the backpack of the Chimaris Vidar, on top of other, builder parts. But it's a purely melee-oriented build with just some range capabilities.
Okay. What? Let me ask you: when you're in combat, are you primarily relying on melee or ranged?
Melee. Range I use purely to break the enemy and make sure that they can't guard, and then I just go in for a full melee.
And what are the melee weapons you have?
Purely melee, like literally the weapon, melee weapon.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that. Do you have it on left and right?
Yes, it's both-handed. You cannot do single-handed for a melee.
What do you mean?
Here you can see some weapons are dual-handed, meaning that you can't have one weapon on one weapon on the other.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, I did like using the melee myself. In fact, now that you bring it up, I might go back to it.
It's really fun, especially if you build it purely for melee. Here you can see my gold 5-star rarity melee because I've upgraded and I've put as much upgrades as possible on it. Eventually I might change what I'm doing, but it seems to be fun, to put it lightly.
Let me ask you, how many different builds are you upgrading? And I guess I mean this by I'm not upgrading a whole lot right now. There's only a few suits that because I just want to be a few things. But does this game make it easy? It seems like it to just upgrade a lot. Or do you have to conserve your resources?
I am quite liberal with my resources, if anything.
Yeah, it feels like this game lets you do that.
If you see, this was my very first build, the Genetic. Then I got to the Genetic Burstmaster, the Gundam Rosemary, the Eternal Oblivion. This one I just did for my own fun because I'm a unicorn fanatic.
Yeah.
Then there is the Gundam Malaya, which I'm not taking any praise for the design. That's my better half's design, and again fully maxed out. We got the Ragnarok, which I just started actually maxing out slowly, and you can already see that it's almost there. Grid Wraith, which is going to be the next one that I'm going to be upgrading. Gundam Burstmaster, which is my attempt to recreate what I have on my desk here. You can see it actually over there to my right.
Oh, yeah.
The Thundering Full Armor, which again is my ranged build, which is already maxed out, and the Elmerak, which the only thing I haven't maxed out is the backpack and the ranged weapon. So I'd say that it's pretty liberal with what you get in terms of parts.
I think so. Yeah, as I've gone, it's like what I'll do is I'll play a few missions and be like, okay, maybe some enemies did take a little longer, so now I'll upgrade my parts, like whatever the max is at that point, and I've never had to worry about, like, oh, I can't upgrade or something. And before I move on to Ian, Talos, any just final thoughts overall?
I think that the game would be a lot more fun if they added more mobile suits. Other than that, I don't really have any complaints about the game itself. I want more customization. I like customization in video games, and that's what I'm happy to see with Breaker 4, allowing you to switch the arms around, to choose your own arms. It'd be nice to see that with the legs, but I can understand the difficulty because then you'd have to have different hips as well. But that's just me being, too wishful.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, you brought up something and I was going to ask and then I totally forgot. So if it comes back, I'll let you know. But
of course,
Ian, let me actually share your screen. I like that Talos was showing the builds. Yeah. So if you want to first, give your general thoughts, and then if you want to show off your builds.
So I did not start with New Gundam Breaker like others. I actually, through one of your contests, actually won the Vita version of Gundam Breaker 3 that Goose, shout out to Goose, happened to provide. So,
that's cool.
So, that was kind of my first exposure to Gundam Breaker. And then with this one, I like it a lot. Like, I liked it more than I thought I was going to enjoy it. It's just... I think one of my first initial thoughts was it's just something I can kind of turn on for a little bit, play a couple missions, turn my brain off. I don't really have to think too much as far as like outside of the customization. The customization has been really fun. I tend to, I'll defer to like Talos. Talos is always my go-to for, games like this where it involves like upgrades because he's so good with the in-depth.
Yeah. The min-maxing of whatever the attribute is to maximize whatever potential. Yeah,
exactly. So I like to go to Talos to ask him questions, but I tend to go for a more symmetrical design, I guess you can say. Like I noticed like Talos's builds have like his the one with the Shining Gundam arm. Sorry, Talos, I'm already forgetting names and stuff like that.
You're perfectly fine.
You'll notice I have not even changed my names for any of my builds yet. They're just Gundam Breaker just because I feel like I'm not good with naming stuff. So, I'm thinking like this will be the sneaky special or something like that.
Real quick on that, because I went through and named mine, and then if I made tweaks and then went in and saved, it actually will write over, and I didn't realize it. It wrote over. And so mine all say Gundam Breaker.
There you go.
There is actually a fix to that, by the way.
Oh, is there?
So after you name the blueprint, reload the blueprint. So load the blueprint, and it will constantly have it as that blueprint name. So when you make a new blueprint, it will also be named as the other blueprint. It's bizarre.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Okay.
That makes sense, though. I kind of see what you're saying. But yeah, Ian, continue.
So I went with more of like a symmetrical design. For my builds that I've done so far, but it's all been primarily melee builds too. Although I feel like I tend to go for a more all-rounder kind of feel to mine. So I have the twin buster rifles from the Wing Zero for my mid to long range blasters, and then melee for fists, so that takes up both the left and right arm, kind of like we talked about already. And I'll kind of switch back and forth between beam sabers and things like that, depending on the situation. And we could talk about like the builder parts later, because I think that's a good thing to kind of bring up is like Talos kind of tuned me into the booster. There's a booster part that will like help you to increase your speed and things like that.
Oh, the amazing lev.
Yes. And then I have 2 katanas for my back, along with the Epion shield on the back. I like how you don't have to have the shield on the arm. You can actually have it stored away or not appear at all, which I think is neat.
Yeah.
And then new Gundam legs, and then the rail cannons from the Freedom, and the H2 Magnum. Is that what I have here? Yeah, H2 Magnum arms. That's a build fighters, build divers throwout.
Okay. Well, pretty cool. But yeah, if you want to go through, if you don't mind, like, what are some other builds you had?
They're all relatively similar
Okay.
in style, but
Just little tweaks there. Oh, that looks cool.
Little tweaks here and there, and then, but it's all kind of sticking to the same color scheme. This one kind of looks more like a ninja. I feel like, in comparison to my kind of final story mode build. Because I literally just beat the story like 2 days ago, so I'm like, I was just kind of experimenting a little bit with different builds that I have going on, but I wanted to I somehow managed to go with more of like this ninja kind of look without really even trying to go for it. Just kind of happened, Just
kind of the stuff you like, that you gravitate to. So that's a cool color scheme. Is that something that you gravitate towards? Like, if you're, imagining creating your Gundam, you kind of like this sort of color?
Yeah, like so this color scheme is kind of more along the lines of my GBO2 builds too, because in GBO2 you can change your color scheme on your suits once you get to a high enough rank. So this color scheme just is something that worked for me originally. I went with like an all blue and kind of like that orange, metallic orange, and I thought that looked cool. And then as I slowly kind of got more into the customization, this color scheme just kind of sticks with me a little bit more. I tried like a white build for a minute too, and that was okay, but I wanted something that just kind of screams more of like me,
Yeah, that's what's cool about this game. You can really hone in on the things you like.
Yeah.
Well, any final thoughts before I move on?
I think it's a really good game for just if you want to turn your brain off for a little bit outside the customization. And I recommend picking up the game if you want to get more into like Gunpla building, or you want to get ideas for posing, for photography. I think this is a good option for something like that. Yeah.
No, that's cool. Especially, customizing, like you almost like POC or proof of concept something,
Yeah. You can see right here, like, you can go through, they have different poses and all of that. And then these poses, like when you do your awakening mode, which we can talk a little bit about too, will mirror that when you actually do your awakening.
Okay,
so
that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, well, cool. Yeah. And so for me, real quick, like I have my review up, generally I like it. Since the review playing it, I like it. I agree with a lot of you, even you, Ian. It's like, the gameplay itself, I like it more than I thought I would. It is simple gameplay wise, but it's very satisfying. It is almost a cozy game. Like I don't have to stress. I can sit there and play it and have fun. And I think it's really cool because at the same time I'm playing Black Myth Wukong. I play Souls games, so it's cool to be able to you chill with something like this, because I do really. It's like the combat is fun. It's not my favorite type of combat in the game, but then the customizing almost adds context to the fun of the combat. So I'll go real quick. Like, so this right here is the first one I made, and what I did was I just mashed all the highest parts I had together. That was really just the thing. Let's see what I can make, right? And it was that. And then
that's funny.
And then I decided, okay, let me just make something badass. Like, what's something that's just evokes the UC Gundam, but looks different than what we've seen, and that was putting a gun tank chest just on a Gundam body. So, and then after that, sorry, my controller stopped, so I'm using my mouse. Oh, wait, that's weird. Did I lose a part?
That's because you probably have scrapped the part. Yeah, if you scrap the part, it becomes a blue. It becomes like a blueprint color.
So how did I scrub it?
Probably you used it to be XP for other parts, maybe.
Oh yeah, okay.
Synthesized,
and then I could just go and buy it again.
Yeah,
right. So this is one that I spent a little more time on in terms of giving it as many gimmicks as possible, still keeping it in line with UC, but being pretty interesting. And then this next one, yeah, it was another one of me. Let's just make something cool in UC. It's was this the Jesta mixed with some other stuff, and I put the V fin on it. I thought that would be kind of a cool little touch. And then like on the back, those missile pods. I think it's from the Double Zeta. Oh, let me get back to that. And then I want to say it was the Yak Doga, the fin funnels. I put it on the wrist. I just thought that was different, but it's cool that this game allows you to do that, and then resizing it. So then what I did next was I just decided to just build out the kit as it is. That was kind of a fun thing, even though I can just do that in real life. It was cool having the parts kind of building out, saving it in its slot. And then I did that again with the full armor. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to build a full armor unicorn, and this is going to be my main. And actually, so you can see like I'm at 29, even though I could probably level up more. But this has been my main because there's just something. It could be, Steven brought this up, my first Gunpla was the real grade unicorn, full armor unicorn. And so when I look at this, I'm like, this is a badass machine, especially some of its abilities, like when it shoots its missiles and it just that flip and shoots the missiles. Like, I love that. And it's, abilities like with the fin. So that's the other thing. And we'll probably talk about that more, like the abilities and stuff where I can, go into destroy mode. I can shoot off my fin funnels, the shield funnel and stuff. And it's, it is, so it's almost, I wouldn't say role playing, but this allows me to make something that already does exist and play it. Whereas, like, you guys are showing off some amazing, cool custom stuff, which I want to do more. But for now, as a Gundam fan, it's been fun, like, buying the kits in the store and then making them and then using them. Even though it's all digital, there's just something very fun and at home with action figures about that, And so let me think. Anything else I want to talk about? No, showing off my stuff. I think we're done. I'm not done yet. I'm on chapter 7. The reason I just haven't beat it yet is just because, huge gamer. So I'm also playing a lot of Astrobot, which I'm having fun with, Star Wars Outlaws, Castlevania. So, but I will say this is, I've put more time in Gundam Breaker 4 than all those other games.
Would it be fair to say this is kind of like a palate cleanser in a way?
Yes. Anytime I feel like I need to play a game and I don't know what to play, I feel like you can load up GB4 and there's something, whether that's just button mashing or I'm just going to build something random. Like it allows you to do two different things that are very cozy like, and there's no stress involved. So yeah. And so what I want to talk about right now, I want to get into more depths in the technical stuff, but let's maybe talk about some criticisms here. What I would say is it's kind of hard to criticize, even though it might seem easy. I say it's kind of hard to criticize just because this game is what it is. Like, it's made to get Gunpla parts, build Gunpla, go out and see it in battle, whatever. But I feel like, I would rather there be levels that were a little more. The other ones did it, but I still didn't like them. Just an open area. Like, I don't need to be teleported. It's like you're in a static area, and then when you're done killing him, it's like, okay, we'll teleport you somewhere else. It's just like these little rooms of waves, and I feel like that takes away from more of a connection to the world and environment. The other thing I would say is, and Talos, you can correct me here because I think you might have more insight into this. It seems like you can do so much min-maxing and using certain combos, but there's not really a meta. What do you think?
People have been trying to create the metas in the Breaker 4. Specifically right now, the extra large mace for the Barbatos Lupus Rex has been the meta because of just the insane amount of damage that it does, how quickly it can melt someone's health and everything along the way. There is the double atomic bazooka builds that some people do, which is funny. But mostly it's just that it's just not that many stable meta builds because there are so many combinations you can make. It's incredible.
Yeah, and so that's another thing I think is cool about it. It's like, yeah, maybe there's not like, oh, there's a certain way if I build it like this, then it's the best. It's almost like you can make the game play the way it feels most fun for you, and you can still be a badass. Like
Correct.
with the unicorn, I'm using the javelin, the beam javelin.
Oh, the upper beam javelin.
Yeah, and the beam saber. And there's so many badass aerial combos you can do. You know, and I love being able to switch it, and I loved using the whip because the whip allowed me I can pull someone toward me and then start, doing combos. And that's the thing. I do tend to just, even though there's ranged, it's mainly melee. And then ranged is usually if then I'm transitioning to another enemy and I'm just shooting on my way there, or if I got them in the air and I'm shooting them, because sometimes, and maybe you can clarify this, Talos, sometimes depending on what hits and combos I do, I'm enacting specific buffs.
I think it's just based on the kit of your mobile suit, or it might be just random. I got no clue on how some buffs activate. Some of them activate simply by you breaking enough enemy parts or just getting a specific amount of hits. You know those little hit markers that you have on the right side of your screen when you are hitting someone? You've landed that many hits. That usually gives you also buffs, so that might be the case.
Okay, yeah, because so far it hasn't been too consistent with me, but that kind of makes sense, I guess, the type of kit or the weapon you have. But see,
for a while I had the shotgun for that reason, dual-wielding shotguns, because they fire shrapnel. I just unload a few shotgun rounds, max out my hit meter, and just had all of the buffs.
Okay, yeah. And that's an interesting thing, because it doesn't seem like, unless I'm missing it, it doesn't seem like at any point has it really mattered so much that I'm making sure certain buffs are happening. And that's the other thing about this game. It's like you can make it as deep as you want it to be, which is great for people that it's a first-time game. If they just want to play surface level.
That is correct.
Has your wife been playing it?
Yes.
Because I saw that build, but I don't know if she's actually been playing it.
Al has given mostly trials with the building, not anything else.
Okay, so that's cool. That's a component she can enjoy, Yep.
Yeah. For an example, I've been spending more time in my diorama, as you can see right here. Example.
Yeah, that does.
That looks really cool.
And so that's another. Okay, you know what? It's funny. We were talking about criticisms. I said some and it's very light, and it's just due to the nature of the game. It's really hard to criticize. Ian, do you have any criticisms?
For if we're going to criticize it as a Gundam game, right? I feel like, and Talos kind of said this earlier, there's just not enough suit. There's a lot of suits. There's a lot of variation of suits. However, there's not a lot of variation. Like when you're in missions, I kept running into serpents, which is from Endless Waltz. And I'm I am tired of running into serpents. I am tired of getting the same parts over and over for serpents. That is not the build I want to go for, even though I find that it's a really cool suit design. I don't want to keep running into the same suit over and over again then it just becomes synthesis parts for my suit to power up, So I think I understand. I think why they did it. It was because they wanted to get the game out, and maybe through updates, maybe they'll change some of that. I don't know. I think where they're at now is where they're at now, and they're just going to add DLC suits to make it just more customizable later on. But right now, I feel like there's just not enough variation of suit parts in the story mission. So maybe in the next Gundam Breaker, because if this is selling well enough, and I think it is, they'll do another Gundam Breaker. There'll be a Gundam Breaker 5.
What are some suits that are missing from this? I for one, and it could be I haven't got there yet, but so far I haven't come across the Toads Ritter. Yeah,
you're correct.
There is a Pale Rider, but
there's Pale Rider, but no Toads Ritter. Okay, so because Missing Link is detailed there, so it makes me think, okay, if Missing Link is detailed there, maybe that's just another DLC thing. Because I think Toads Ritter has been DLC for previous Gundam games. That might have even be S or G Generation. It's there's these certain suits that always come up as DLC. Talos, Ian, are there any other suits you would think would be in this that aren't?
Quite a plenty, but do we have time?
Okay. Well, yeah, I know you would know more than, or I guess name a couple then. Name a couple that would be familiar to the Gundam.
All of the narratives, first of all. Let's begin by saying that all of the narrative packs. Second of all, Penelope.
Yeah.
The Messers are not in here either.
Yeah, that
Very
definitely.
few German variants.
Is the Hyzak in there? I don't think the Hyzak.
Correct. It's not in there.
Yeah.
Marasa is not in there. Yeah. You know, you don't have even the gap fully. The Masala would be pretty funny. This hulking behemoth of a mobile suit. There's a lot, actually, now that you're pointing it out. The Hainu is available.
Oh, cool. Haven't got to that yet, I guess.
Hainu's in the game. I've seen it a couple of times.
It's from side quests that you can get it. Those quests. And actually, there's a criticism. A lot of the missions don't tell you the mobile suits that actually spawn in them. So you don't know where to look for parts.
Oh.
That's a good criticism right there, is that there's just not like really a guide for... I have general ideas of where certain suits are just from having played them, and then I'm like, I'm going to go back and replay it. But like other suits that I might want down the line, I don't know where they are, or I might forget just because you're going through and you get kind of like jumbled up with all the other stuff.
I should know this. Rick Diaz. Did we see a Rick Diaz in there?
Yes, there is a Rick Diaz.
What about a Zeong?
It is. Even the perfect Zeong is in there. The one with the legs.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I actually have the robot spirits of that. What's another one that I would... Oh, is the Cubely in there? I didn't see that.
Yes.
Oh, sweet. You know why it's so bad? Because I not only do I filter UC, but then I buy everything Federation. It's like Adam. Of course, you wouldn't know. Yeah. So what's Rigazi Custom?
No,
that is not in there. Yeah, the Rigazi period.
In that, I mean, that's kind of more of an obscure, even though it would be a good one.
The Sentinel gun, the S Gundam is in there. The S Gundam and the EXS is in there. So Sentinel has representation.
That's a good point, because
there are Zeta Pluses as well in there, so there's that.
Yep.
The Double Zeta prototype would be a good one. That's obscure.
It would be a good one. Yeah.
Yep. That would be a good one too.
Even Twilight Axis suits would be pretty cool to have.
I don't think that we got any period. We don't have the disc, I think. I'll have to check.
I feel like they did they did a good job with giving us enough variation for the launch of the game. Now I want to see, and this can be a criticism in of itself, but I want to see them support this game, like multiple DLC packs, not just an SD Gundam Battle Alliance where you get 3 story missions and then a couple suits here and there, and then that's it. This game needs to be supported. If you want it to be more along the lines of like these other long-running games where they have support for, like Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is still getting DLC to this day.
Yeah.
It's still getting support. Yeah.
And on that matter, sorry to cut you off, Adam, but on that matter, this is the perfect platform to make it literally a platform game. The Gundam Breaker 4, it's easy to even have crossovers at this point. People might not like it, and that's perfectly fine. But you can include Super Robot series in this. You can include
other maybe Bandai model kits in general.
Yeah.
Well, they do have 30-minute mission kits in here too.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Actually, since you're looking at my screen, this is perfect. Well, as for those who who haven't gone far, but this is a borderline 30-minute sister build.
Oh yeah, I was curious about those parts.
I love that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's very detailed and pretty neat. So I think then so deals will be coming up. I think it's kind of a just thing we accept. Yeah, they sell us a game, they're going to sell us DLC. There's already a lot of kits. We can complain. Yeah, there's kits that are missing, but it's a lot of content, and everyone has their favorites and stuff. So it would be nice it would be cool too if they offered a thing. What if you paid I don't want to give them bad ideas, $10 a month or something, and every time new kits drop, you get them, kind of making it live servicey. I don't know. But then I think the last main complaint, and it's actually something that got me in trouble with Bandai, is the fact that this isn't on Xbox and doesn't offer crossplay. Because the other part, especially nowadays, when there's all these games, all these IPs, all these free-to-play games that people can just spend their time on, what can you do to get people to get to a new game? You have to have the barrier to entry very low. So if you got a bunch of friends on PS5 playing Gundam Breaker and they want you to play and you only have an Xbox, you're out of luck. That's one less sale. That's one less person they got playing it. And we see games coming out. Even Square, how they've been talking about that they're going to start releasing more games on Xbox. And you have like Space Marine 2 just came out and it's cross-play across everything. And that's a very successful game right now. And so that I think making this a paid game without a live service component and not on Xbox, no cross-play, almost makes this like an archaic form of a game release. But I will add that this game was delayed from when it was originally supposed to come out. So it could have been that this was just a product of an earlier time anyway. And because we saw that that's kind of happening in the industry, like Concord came out where people just don't want that type of game anymore, but at the time they were making Concord, people wanted that type of game. So, okay. Criticisms aside, I think even with those critiques, this is a very fun game. Now, I wanted to kind of dive into maybe more of the kind of the interesting things, and we don't have to spend too much time. We're not going to spend too much more long on this, but for instance, I love how parts will have certain things. For instance, the unicorn, I have that ability for destroy mode, so I'm playing out what it is to be that kit. Like using the fin funnels too, that's just part of. Are there any other examples you guys want to bring up of cool abilities they have in this?
Oh,
the Ally of Vignana.
Oh, yeah,
right here.
Yeah.
I love. Sorry, Talos, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to quickly say, like the one of the first things I noticed just playing for 5 minutes was the Shining Gundam Super Mode. Like you get the hyper mode and all of that. And it showed that parts actually like open up on the suit and you can see it. And I just love that attention to detail that they did for that.
If you want attention for detail, there is a funny one. If you get the edges, you can actually do the grapple on to people and self-destruct.
I love that.
That is cool. Yeah, what are some other abilities you guys have come across?
So
or even not just abilities, but even those cool option parts, or I forget the name of it, where you can add on, it's almost like you can make and resize extra abilities, which is pretty amazing.
Oh yeah. But there are so many abilities that are, based off of the originals. Most of the wing units actually have the self-destruct option, which is really funny.
I didn't dumb, but I love it.
That is actually pretty neat. I didn't know that. Huh.
Another really interesting thing is that, as you put it, the builder parts also give you abilities. Which, for an example, I was talking about the Amazing Lev. Which the Amazing Lev is normally a shield, but you can attach it on your back or any part of your mobile suit as a builder part, and you can use it to give yourself pretty much the equivalent of Transem. Which, speaking of which, there is the Transem for the 00 units, and there is also the Transem burst for the 00 Riser, and then there is the Quantum burst for the 00 Quanta, which also sets its armor like it did in the series.
Oh, that's cool.
So you have all of those unique parts and abilities where you're like, all right, there is a lot going on here. What can I do? The new has its fin funnels. And also, if you've read, the fin funnels, you can, even with the new, you can either release them normally as they would be in fin funnel mode, or you can create the fin funnel barrier.
Nice. So that's cool.
You have
that attention to detail, building your kit, living it out. Okay, well, let me ask you guys something else then here. Now, I thought, and this could be me personally, but I thought multiplayer was going to be bigger. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like it was going to have a more connected experience, but it seems more like just matchmaking, get into a mission. Have you guys played multiplayer at all?
I have plenty.
I have too. Yeah.
Okay, you have, and what was it like? It's just playing it just with someone?
Talos, you want to go ahead first, and then I'll.
That's a good way of putting it. It's literally you're just there. You're just there along with someone else. That's how it feels at times. Is it cool to see your friends just kind of exist in the same area as you? Yeah, but it's also so chaotic that it's difficult to just keep up with what's going on your screen, and especially at higher levels, it even gets even more hectic where there's no strategic play really. Let's cover the elephant.
That's kind of what I was trying to get to. Like, so that's the thing. This game, the multiplayer really doesn't matter, but I think it's good that it's just there anyway. Why not just have it where then you can be in a mission with someone? So I like it when devs do that, even if it doesn't necessarily, like when they sold this game, marketed this game, it's not like they're saying there's some incredible multiplayer. They say, oh, there's multiplayer. But in my mind, I'm thinking, again, like this game got delayed, so who knows? Like I was thinking there'd be more to the multiplayer, like an actual lobby. I'm thinking Gundam Metaverse, Battlelog, these things they kind of show in the shows, and they like I thought I'd be in like a bigger lobby, almost like GBO2 in a way. And then I thought maybe there'd be other cool little missions like GBO2 where there's like those special co-op missions or something, you know. But I wouldn't even call that a critique because like they could have just left out multiplayer mode, but at least it's just in here. So yeah,
that's a good way of putting it. Even though that it's not really a big deal, it's still there. And I think that it brings people more in the game in a way because, you want to play a game with your friends and you want to play a game where you can show off your builds. Not just sending pictures, but being in the same lobby, I think even matters.
How many people could be in a lobby?
24, I think.
24 people.
Oh, I did not. But so how does that work? Is it where you have to have 24 people, or is it where if you join a lobby to play multiplayer, you're automatically put in a lobby that has other people?
You can make your own.
Interesting.
Let me, you know what, since you're sharing my screen real quick, let me go in here because Santo Bell, our Australian
Santo
friend,
Bell, another longtime contributor. Check out the Gundam Breaker 4 in the Discord server, because he has some badass builds in there. Voltron.
Let's see if I can find him. Yeah, that was one I told him. I was like, "Hey, can you make that?"
Oh, wow! I love the color scheme that he put on what looked like the G Savior, which would be a kit. They
found him.
Oh, is he actually playing right now?
No, but your character, once you've linked up with people, their character will be in your lobby. So, like this guy right here, this guy named Kiryu, he wonder if he watches your content. That'd be cool. He's here, and then let me see, where's the other one?
So I'm in I probably have to go to like multiplayer or something, right?
Yep.
Let me do that.
Then you have to have at least played with someone at least once.
Oh, you know what? I remember I went to a game and everyone was just standing there, and no one started the mission.
Let's see here. Hold on. Let me do this. Search. Actually, let's create a multiplayer move to a lobby with friends.
And so what is it you're doing? What, you create your own lobby?
Yeah, so like right now I'm creating a lobby, and now I should be able to invite friends if I have them.
And I think I'm pretty sure we're all on there.
I don't have you on here yet, Adam.
Oh.
So you'll have to send me your
let's fix
code.
that right now.
Yes, please.
What
let's see here.
What is your friend code, I guess? Okay.
06.
Okay, I see it. I'll type it in so you don't have to say it. But I guess anyone else watching this, feel free to link up with us because it would be cool if somehow something bigger came out of the multiplayer.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Hopefully you'll get a message here in a second.
It's almost instant, so
got it.
Okay, so let's see.
I'm gonna reject Adam Blue right now.
Oh.
No.
Live.
That would be funny. Yeah, just
it should be noted. It should be noted real quick for the Steam version of the game. You do have to have your thing set to be in the same region as the other person you're trying to link up with. So if you're in the US, you need to be your Steam download has to be set to US.
Oh, okay. So okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Do you want to send me an invite?
Let me see here. Let's see. How do I do that? Because I don't know that I did that the last time.
You have to go to the multiplayer desk.
That's down here, I think, right?
No,
up at
it's
the
up
top?
near the quest board.
The yellow.
Oh, yeah. My bad. Friends. There we go. I found it. And then play invite. Adam Blue. Yes. There we go.
Okay. So then real quick, then I'm going to just share mine and see. Okay. Did I get a, oh, what?
Yeah.
So message.
Check your messages.
Press.
Wait, how do,
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I usually use a gamepad, but when my gamepad shut off, you actually, for me, this doesn't happen with all games, but this game, you have to reset it for the gamepad to work again. That might not be for everybody, but okay. Play invite. What would I do? Reply. Oh, and accept. Okay. Okay, so it's like instantaneously. There you go. Sweet.
Let's see here. Nope, hold still. There we go. I can examine your card here.
Oh, let me show that. Oh, wait, it's not showing up anymore. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, that's when you can go up to someone and view their profile. Because yeah, I love the addition of like, what are your favorite Gundam series? You know, like that's kind of a little personal, cool thing.
And then I can look at your parts that you have currently equipped. And then I just praised you. And then I can view your gallery if you have saved images and you uploaded them for everybody to see. I can look at those. It's pretty cool. Hey, I got a trophy.
Oh, from doing that. That's cool.
My first good build. Thanks for that, Adam.
What button on keyboard do I press?
Should pop up if I... Oh, there we go. Let's see.
Oh.
Should pop up if you're like looking at me, and then...
What's the button?
Mine, because I'm using gamepad right now, is X. So if you look...
I don't know what that would be on keyboard.
Can you share your screen?
Let me, real quick, I'm going to turn on my other controller to see if that... Okay, good. Okay, X. I don't know what that is in keyboard, but yeah, then let me share my screen real quick to show your thing. Okay, cool. So, yeah. So you can see... and then where do you go to the parts?
Should be... open submenu.
Oh, open submenu.
Actually, no, sorry. Hold on one second. How did I do? Oh, I pressed A. You just pressed
A.
A.
Switch display. So you can display either the card this way or, yeah, the card or the part. Oh, there's three things. Builder parts, and specs, player card, and then, or profile, and then the
and you can also see what skills they currently have equipped if you press on the right trigger.
Oh, nice. Okay, so this is, I guess, could be a cool social aspect if everyone's in the multiplayer and is curious what people are doing. Yeah, that's cool. Real quick, I'm going to move to Talos. What are you getting yourself into?
Doing a little bit of a quest to just fight mobile armors.
Hey, you know what? I got to say, these fights are fun because this is so simple, but when I see like the circles pop up, at least there's an additional tactic for me to do, you know, other than just mashing it. You know what I mean? So where I can circle around and make sure I'm actually aiming and hitting it, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and I prefer usually, depending on the mobile armor, to go into the free aim, because that way I'm able to aim directly to the part that I want to be attacking.
I am so glad you brought that up, because I was testing the camera and I didn't really know what I would use that free aim for. But this makes sense because, yeah, when I had the lock on, you don't sometimes have enough time to move it over to the circle target, and it'll go. So okay.
I didn't think about it like that either, because when I was fighting the final boss, it's kind of annoying when you're trying to lock on and you can't really see other parts. You know, it's just a really big thing. No spoilers.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you said that, because yeah, I'll be probably getting to the final boss today when I'm playing later. I want one last thing I want to end with. While playing this game, sometimes I felt like I was playing Gundam Versus. Sometimes I felt like I was playing SD Gundam Battle Alliance. Like, I feel like there's almost too much similarity between these games. What do you guys think? You agree?
I agree with that. I feel like this is a tease for future games in a way. Like this is a test to see in terms of movement, game function.
Yeah, like each one could tweak things a little bit because, like, take the gameplay of SD Gundam Battle Alliance, but the graphics of this.
Yep.
Not the lighting. The lighting in SD Gundam is better, but this, just the way the suits are. Like, if you can have this customizing with the SD Gundam Battle Alliance gameplay, that would be awesome.
I honestly think it's a I'm just going to say it because I want it to come back. I think this is a precursor for a Dynasty Warriors Gundam game, just with the way that the game plays as far as like melee and all of that.
It's long overdue.
I think you're right because they've announced that new Dynasty Warriors that looks like it's a completely different engine. Having a Gundam game with the newer Dynasty Warriors engine,
we need it. I want it. Well, I want it to come back.
Okay. Well, I think that's a cool kind of take to end on. Like, in general, this is a fun game. I don't know though how this is to get people into Gundam. That's the only thing. Unless does this attract them to want to build? They would have to already know about building Gunpla, like to want to play it for that. Then the combat's not deep. So if you're not into that stuff, I think it's hard to get people into this.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say this is more for people who like I kind of said earlier, you like building Gunpla in particular, and you want ideas on how to customize. Like you can get like a better idea of what colors you might want to use depending on what you're kit bashing. If you do figure photography like Adam and I do, then it might be good for testing out poses or getting ideas for different poses. And if you just want something where you can turn off your brain for a little bit, then I think this is kind of that game too. It's just a quick little beat 'em up kind of thing. You play a couple missions and then you're done and you feel satiated.
Yeah. Good note to end on because that's true with this. So thanks, Ian and Talos, for being here. Talos was a last minute addition today. I didn't think we were going to have Talos on here, and I think that just that knowledge really helped with this. I think this was a really good time.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess thanks for everyone that tuned in to watch this. Check out, in the description, links to Ian and Talos' stuff. Do you guys want to plug anything, actually, while you're here?
I mean, I don't think that many would be interested in the stuff that myself and my co-host cover.
Oh, Walter?
Yeah.
Yeah, from your channel. That's a link in the description if you guys want to check that out.
But we do GBO2 stuff. We might start expanding our horizons with Breaker 4 in the near future, hopefully. We'll see. There was a long, even hiatus because I had the computer issues. Thankfully, they are fixed. My water pump was acting up.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Ian, what about you? Anything you want to plug? I know you've been doing a lot of cool stuff over at your server. Like
Yeah, we do, in my server, we do, we try to do a monthly movie night. There's a poll right now for 4 different movies. We'll watch anime. We'll do like action movies. We'll, people can make suggestions on movies they want to watch. Eventually, I just got some stuff done for an overlay thing for streaming. So maybe I'll get back into streaming pretty soon. Twitch.tv /Naan-stop Collectors. Instagram at Naan-stop Collectors. If you want to see some of the stuff I post there every once in a while. Other than that, find me on Discord. I'm there all the time.
Yep. Well, cool. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll talk later.